Part 7. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 61. It's a master. Yihan's heart trembled. The purple spruce youth in front of him, who looked younger than himself, was definitely not an ordinary scholar. Sir, you are very capable. It's me who is short-sighted. Yihan bowed to Lin Su and gave a look to the soldiers beside him. Why don't you invite this gentleman into the city? Yes, young city lord. The soldiers responded in unison and surrounded Lin Su. May I ask what this means, young city lord? Lin Su looked at the soldiers holding the shining swords and guns with a smile. Sir, don't you want to enter the city? I want to invite you to my house as a guest and show my hospitality. Don't you want to do me a favor? After Yihan asked back, he shouted to the soldiers, I asked you to invite you into the city. Are you inviting me? Put away your weapons. Yes, young city lord. The soldiers responded in unison and put away their swords and guns, but still surrounded Lin Su, leaving only one way to enter the city. This young city lord is quite interesting. Lin Su laughed. Since he was so kind to invite him, he couldn't refuse, right? In that case, I'd rather obey you respectfully. Waving his sleeves, Lin Su leisurely stepped towards the city gate. When he passed by Yihan, his right fingertips brushed the horse's back as if inadvertently, and praised good horse. Yihan looked at Lin Su in confusion. Just as he was about to turn his horse's head to catch up, the white horse under him let out a whine and collapsed to the ground. Yihan, who was caught off guard, almost fell off the horse's back. Fortunately, he was also a martial arts master at the peak of the acquired world. He twisted his waist and hips, stopped the tendency to lean forward, and turned over and landed on the ground with his hands. Ziobai, what's wrong with you? As soon as he stabilized his body, Yihan rushed to the collapsed mount in one step, knelt on one knee and checked nervously. This white horse was called Night Shining Jade Lion, a rare BMW horse, and Yihan valued it more than himself. Huff huff. The Night Shining Jade Lion took a few deep breaths, and suddenly stood up again, looking like nothing happened. Hiss. Yihan couldn't help but take a breath, looking at Lin Su's back with a look of horror. Who is this young man who looks younger than him? Lin Su observed Yihan's performance clearly with his spiritual sense, and smiled secretly in his heart. Just now, he just injected a trace of true energy containing lightning power into the body of the Night Shining Jade Lion, temporarily paralyzing it, so the Night Shining Jade Lion suddenly collapsed. Once the paralysis was over, it was naturally unharmed as usual. This may be shocking to ordinary warriors, but it is a piece of cake for a foundation-building cultivator like Lin Su. Didn't the young city lord invite me to his mansion? Please lead the way. Lin Su paused, turned his head and smiled faintly at Yihan, as if everything that happened before had nothing to do with him. Mr. Lin, please come this way. Suppressing the shock in his heart, Yihan gave a few instructions to the soldiers who were also stunned, and then walked quickly to Lin Su, clasped his fists and saluted, and stretched out his hand to invite him. His attitude was completely different from before. Lin Su smiled secretly in his heart, and said nothing more. As he walked towards the city lord's mansion, the soldiers behind him hurriedly followed him with the Night Shining Jade Lion. Soon, the city gate returned to calm and continued to strictly check people in and out. Mr. Lin, please wait a moment here. I will ask my father to come out. In the reception room of the city lord's mansion, Yihan asked Lin Su to sit down, asked the maid to serve tea, begged for mercy, and turned to the back hall. Not long after, a middle-aged man wearing a gilded tiger costume and a purple gold crown walked in. He laughed before he sat down. I am late, and I have troubled you to wait for a long time. Forgive me, forgive me. Yihan followed the middle-aged man and sat down at the main guest seat. No problem, City Lord Yi is too polite. It seems that this person is the city lord of Danyang City, Yihan's father Yi Tianxing. Seeing Lin Su's calm and composed look, Yi Tianxing's eyes flashed with a gleam of light, and he asked tentatively, I heard from my son that Mr. Lin is a strange man. I wonder where he is from and what he is doing in Danyang City. Strange man? That's right, in the eyes of ordinary mortals, cultivators are indeed strange people. Lin Su muttered in his heart, but his face was still calm. I just passed by Danyang City and came in to rest at night. The young city lord is too kind. By the way, I found that there were smoke everywhere along the way. I wonder what happened. It seems that Mr. Lin is not from my Dantian dynasty. Seeing Lin Su nodded, Yi Tianxing showed a look of sudden realization. No wonder. Rightward arrow. It's like this. Recently, for unknown reasons, rebels have appeared in various places, attacking towns everywhere. Our Dantian dynasty has sent many armies to suppress them, but they still cannot be quelled. Yihan explained, it's strange. Our dynasty has a clean government and no disasters. It's really strange that so many rioters and rebels suddenly appeared. And it's not just our Dantian dynasty, the surrounding Daking dynasty and Dachu dynasty are the same. It's very strange. It does sound a bit weird. Didn't the court investigate the reason? Lin Su narrowed his eyes, and he faintly heard something wrong from Yihan's words. Of course I have investigated, but I can't find out the reason. Those rebels look no different from ordinary people, but there is a fanaticism in their words and deeds, and they are not afraid of death. They are captured no matter how he was tortured after that. He kept silent and tried desperately to seek death, which gave the court a big headache. Yihan sighed, and after exchanging glances with his father Yi Tianxing, he looked at Lin Su and said, to be honest, sir, the reason why Danyang City conducts such rigorous checks is to prevent rebel spies from sneaking into the city and disturbing the public, because before this situation has already occurred, and more than 20 people were incited. Fortunately, it was discovered and suppressed in time, otherwise the consequences would be disastrous. Agitation? What kind of agitation? Lin Su asked, feeling more and more strange in his heart. What Yihan said sounded very much like a kind of evil magic in the world of immortality soul-taking. I don't know exactly how to incite this prince. I only know that the eyes of the incited person are faintly glowing with red light, like an extremely fanatical believer. After being subdued, they still struggle endlessly and glare at the people around them, which makes people shudder. That's right, it's soul-capturing. Lin Su had heard of this kind of sorcery. It was the secret method of the demon section. It could forcibly carve a mark on the soul of others and turn them into absolutely loyal believers. However, this was usually only possible when the gap in strength between the two parties was obvious. Forcibly branding, otherwise the person who performs the spell will be completely relaxed and does not resist to succeed. Mr. Lin, do you know what is going on? Seeing Lin Su's expression was different, Yihan and Yi Tianxing exchanged glances with each other and asked. This seems to be the soul-catching magic of the demon sect, but I'm not sure yet. I have to see it with my own eyes. Lin Su raised his head and looked at Yihan and Yi Tianxing. Do you have any rebel prisoners here? No. The captured rebels and rebels will commit suicide whenever they get the chance. Now only the battlefield front lines, 100 miles west of Danyang City, can see living prisoners. Yihan paused and asked, Mr. Lin, do you want to go to the front line of the battlefield to have a look? I will make arrangements now. Don't bother, I can go by myself. As soon as Lin Su finished speaking, his whole body turned into a sword light and flew out of the living room, speeding towards the sky to the west of Danyang City. Flying sword, flying immortal. This Mr. Lin is actually an immortal master. Yi Tianxing and Yihan's eyes widened. The Dantian dynasty was a vassal state of Qinjimen. As people in power, they also had some understanding of the cultivators. Although they did not know the realm and abilities of the cultivators, they knew that they could. Those who were wielding swords and flying immortals were all great monks, and they couldn't help but turn pale with shock. After all, they are people who have been in high positions for a long time, and their temperament are both excellent. The two of them quickly recovered from the shock. Yi Tianxing looked at the two maids who were still in shock, and ordered in a deep voice, "Don't let out a single word about what happened today. Did you hear everything clearly?" "Yes, Lord City Lord." Only then did the two maids wake up and responded one after another, feeling that their little hearts were still beating. "Okay, you go out and remember to keep your mouth shut." After waving his hands and driving the two maids out of the living room, Yi Tianxing turned to look at his son Yi Han. "Honor, our father and son's opportunity has come. No matter what method you use, you must let this Lin the immortal master is fond of us." "Yes, father, let's get ready now." Yi Han responded and hurriedly walked out. Compared to his father Yi Tianxing, Yi Han was more excited at the moment. He was only 18 years old, much younger than Yi Tianxing. He would still have a lot of life in the future. It's growing. Born as a man, who doesn't want to soar above the 9 heavens and traverse the world. It's a pity that Yi Han has never had the chance to meet the immortal fate, so he can only work hard to practice martial arts and gallop on the battlefield. This is why he values the Yezhao Jade Lion so much. Now the fate of immortality is in front of Yi Han. As long as he holds on to Lin Su, the immortal master, even if he is unable to seek immortality in the end, his future will definitely be limitless. Yi Han is like a mirror in his heart. After leaving the city lord's palace, Lin Su drove the sword light and rushed towards the battlefield front line to the west at full speed. This thing was so unusual. Lin Su seemed to smell a conspiracy. I hope he just thought too much. For Lin Su, the distance of 100 miles was only an hour. After nightfall, Lin Su arrived on the battlefield. A strong bloody aura hit his face. Even in mid-air, Lin Su could still feel the astonishing death aura and murderous aura on the battlefield, which showed how tragic the battle had been in the past few days. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 62. No wonder cultivators never set foot on the battlefield easily. If such a strong murderous aura and death aura are all directed at one person, even a cultivator in the foundation building stage will probably be shaken and his Tao heart will be greatly damaged. Compared with cultivators, ordinary soldiers are indeed like ants and not worth mentioning, but when the number of soldiers reaches a certain level, the murderous aura gathered is considerable. The murderous aura gathered by veterans of hundreds of battles can even break through the true essence of the cultivators and directly attack their Tao heart. It is now night, and the fighting has temporarily stopped. The battlefield is still full of murderous aura. Isn't it even worse during the day? Suppressing the shock in his heart, Lin Su pressed the sword light in the barracks of the government army, and after performing the water hiding technique, he touched the tent where the prisoners were held. The gods will punish you, your doom is not far away. You are dead, the gods will punish you. There were only a few captives, all chained, with broken hands or feet, and even their teeth knocked out, probably to prevent them from committing suicide. Although these captives were seriously injured and barely breathing, they still had a fanatical look on their faces, and they kept repeating words like God, punishment, punishment, as if death was not scary to them at all, or they had completely lost the instinct of fear. Soul Search. Lin Su released the Soul Search technique on one of the captives. This is also a forbidden technique in the world of immortal cultivation. Although almost every cultivator can master it, very few people can use it, because the recipient will become a fool at best, and his soul will be scattered at worst. However, Lin Su did not feel guilty at this moment, because through Soul Search, Lin Su had confirmed his guess that these captives were indeed soul capture technique. Once a person who has been hit by the soul stealing technique dies, his spirit will quickly dissipate, which is no different from the soul being scattered. These captives will not live long, and sooner or later they will all end up with their souls being scattered. Not only that, Lin Su learned from the captive soul memories that they were hid by the soul-stealing technique by several black-clothed gods who could fly and hide. There was only one thought in their minds, that is, to start a war, break through all the cities, and baptize the entire world with war and blood. Soul-stealing technique is the evil technique of the demon sect, which has not appeared in the world for a long time. This time it appeared so blatantly, and it provoked war and started a war in the secular world. I'm afraid the purpose is not small. Lin Su is now basically certain that those so-called black-clothed gods must be the disciples of the demon sect who have been hiding for many years. Since the demon sect was defeated by the 5 major immortal sects thousands of years ago, the remnants have been hiding under a pseudonym and have not appeared for thousands of years. This appearance must be a great conspiracy that may affect the entire world of immortal cultivation. Since Lin Su has encountered it, he must investigate it clearly. There is not much information about the disciples of the demon sect in the captive souls, and it is even more impossible to know the whereabouts of these people. Lin Su decided to stay in Danyang City for a few more days to find out the matter. If the demon sect really revived, he would send the news back to the Sword God sect as soon as possible. With the sword light, Lin Su flew back to Danyang City. In order to find out the truth, he needed to rely on the power of Yihan and his son. Master Immortal, are you back? In the reception room, Yi Tianxing and Yihan and his son saw Lin Su suddenly appear in front of them. They were shocked at first, and then showed a look of surprise on their faces. As long as Lin Su comes back, it will be fine, so that their immortal fate will be settled. Lin Su nodded lightly and sat down on the guest seat. The reaction of Yihan and his son was already in his expectation. Master Immortal, how is the situation? Is it the evil magic of the demon sect that you mentioned? Yes, it is indeed the evil magic of the demon section. Things seem to be more troublesome than I thought. Lin Su frowned slightly and looked up at Yihan and his son. In order to find out the truth, I will stay in Danyang City for a few days. I am afraid I will have to trouble you too. No trouble, no trouble. It is our honor to serve Master Immortal. Master Immortal, just give us your instructions if there is anything. We will definitely follow your instructions. Yi Tianxing's performance at this moment is not like the city lord who holds the power of life and death, but it is no wonder that secular people basically behave like this when facing the Master Immortal who is high above them in their eyes. Master Immortal, I have prepared a residence for you. Please stay in the mansion for the time being. I have ordered that the matter concerning you, Master Immortal, should not be spread outside. Please rest assured. Lin Su was very satisfied with Yihan's knowledge and interest. He knew very well what the father and son of the Yi family were trying to do. As long as the two could really help him, he would not mind giving them some benefits. The residence that Yihan arranged for Lin Su was in the Tingshui Pavilion in the inner courtyard of the city lord's mansion. The environment was quiet and it could be seen that he had put a lot of thought into it. After sending the maid away, Lin Su sat cross-legged on the soft couch and activated the Xianxia treasure mirror. After a day's journey, he had consumed a lot of his true energy and needed to replenish it. In the next few days, Lin Su searched for the whereabouts of the disciples of the demon sect on the battlefields within hundreds of miles of Danyang City, but he found nothing. This made him a little confused. Could it be that he was overthinking and the demon sect did not revive, but only a few remnants were causing trouble? Young City Lord, please help me keep an eye on the people who have been in and out of Danyang City recently, and see if there are any unfamiliar faces, especially those who look cold and icy. According to Lin Su's estimation, if the disciples of the demon sect really had any ideas about Danyang City, they would certainly send people to inquire about the situation in Danyang City. The biggest difference between the people of the demon sect and other cultivators is that they always carry an uncontrollable cold murderous aura and deathly aura. Maybe they can get some useful information from Yihan. Yihan was very quick and brought the information that Lin Su needed within half a day. There were indeed 4 new faces in Danyang City these days. They looked like merchants and their guards. The 3 guards were indeed in line with what Lin Su said. They were full of a cold smell, making people feel uncomfortable when they approached. That night, Lin Su sneaked into the inn where the 4 people stayed and checked. As expected, the 3 guards were disguised as disciples of the demon sect, and the merchant who was the owner was put under the soul capture technique and was completely a puppet. It's really a pain to find, but it's easy to find. I want to see what you want to do. The 3 disciples of the demon sect were not very skilled, only at the 7th or 8th level of the chi refining stage. Lin Su breathed a sigh of relief. If the other party was a cultivator in the foundation establishment stage, it would not be so easy for him to track them without them noticing. After patiently guarding the roof of the inn for a night, Lin Su followed the 3 out of Danyang City in stealth at dawn the next morning. Disciples in the chi refining stage cannot fly with swords, but they can use flying magic tools. After leaving Danyang City, the 3 raised a small black flag, and a black cloud emerged from the small flag, enveloping the 3 and flying to the south. Lin Su followed them from a distance with a sword light, flying for 2 hours, and landed in the woods on a hill next to a battlefield. At this moment, a fierce battle was going on the plain at the foot of the mountain outside the woods. The 2 sides in the battle were naturally the official army of the Dantian dynasty and the rebels who were hit by the soul-stealing technique. The murderous and deadly aura filled the sky above the battlefield, and broken limbs and arms were flying everywhere, and the thick bloody smell was diffused in the air. Why did these 3 people run to the battlefield? They are not just watching the battle, are they? Lin Su hid his figure behind a big tree 10 meters away from the 3 people and secretly observed. One of them took out a black gourd from the storage bag and entered a few spells into it. The black gourd began to emit a faint black light. At the same time, the bloody aura on the battlefield rushed towards the gourd and was quickly sucked into it. Lin Su saw clearly that what was sucked into the black gourd was not only blood, but also countless ferocious and painful human-like smoke that was pulled out from the corpses scattered on the battlefield and sucked into the gourd together. This was clearly the souls of the soldiers from both sides who died in the battle. As the souls and blood were sucked away, the bodies of the soldiers on the battlefield slowly shrank and weathered, but this scene was not noticed by the bloodthirsty soldiers on both sides. Perhaps they had noticed it, but they had no time to think about the reason. So they are collecting blood, souls, no wonder they are waging wars everywhere. Lin Su suddenly realized that this was the purpose of the disciples of the demon sect using the soul-stealing technique to control the rioters and wage wars. Thousands of years ago, the reason why the 5 major immortal sects united to destroy the demon sect was largely because the demon sect's skills were too vicious. In order to improve quickly, they often practiced with the souls and blood of others as a medium. Although there are often fights and killings among immortal cultivators, only the people of the demon sect would kill a whole family simply to improve their cultivation, and even the secular mortals would not be spared. The existence of such a sect is a huge threat to the entire world of immortal cultivation, so the 5 major immortal sects will unite to wipe it out in one fell swoop. Brother, didn't Master tell us to stop for a while before collecting blood, spirit, and soul? We are doing it secretly. If Master finds out, it will be troublesome. Seeing the blood, spirit, and soul being sucked into the black gourd, another demon sect cultivator asked worriedly to the demon sect cultivator who took out the black gourd. You know shit. All the blood, spirit, and soul we collected were handed over to Master. We don't have much left. If we don't do it secretly, when will we be able to collect enough blood, spirit, and soul to refine the blood-soul pill? Do you still want to break through the foundation establishment stage? The demon sect cultivator holding the black gourd glared at the person who was speaking and cursed, if you are afraid, leave by yourself, but you won't get the blood-soul pill. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 63. No, senior brother. I'm just talking casually. We've come here, how can we just leave like this? As soon as they heard the words blood soul pill, the two demon sect monks wilted and hurriedly smiled at the demon sect monk holding the black gourd. What kind of elixir is this blood soul elixir? There is no record in Master Jianling's soul fire alchemy. It seems to be a elixir unique to the demon section. From what these three people said, it seems that it can also help build the foundation. I don't know if it's true or not. Lin Su secretly muttered, no matter what miraculous effects this blood soul pill has, taking souls to refine medicine will hurt Tian He. It's okay if he didn't see it. Now that he saw it, Lin Su couldn't let them do it anymore. Go down. Just as he was about to show his body and deal with the three demon sect monks, Lin Su suddenly felt a thrill in his body, and an extremely dangerous feeling came into his heart. Without thinking, he dwarfed and huddled into the bushes beside him. In the bush, the atmosphere didn't dare to make a sound. A blood cloud emerged from the horizon and arrived in the dense forest in the blink of an eye. A violent and evil aura spread from the blood cloud, and the air in the entire dense forest seemed to freeze. He is a master in the Dan formation stage. Lin Su's heart was shaking wildly, and he tried his best to control the aura in his body, not daring to move. It was obvious from the person's aura that he was not a kind person. If he was discovered by him, the consequences would be miserable without even thinking about it. Teacher, Master. As soon as Sui-un appeared, the expressions of the three demon sect monks changed drastically. The tall monk holding the black gourd hurriedly put the black gourd away and knelt on the ground with the other two. He Lang, you three are so brave. I asked you to stay quiet for a few days, but you secretly collected blood and souls behind my back. What, do you think this is bullshit? A hoarse shout came from the blood cloud. The sound was very unpleasant, like a demonic sound penetrating the ears, and there was a trace of anger hidden in it. The bodies of the three Mo sect monks suddenly trembled like a sieve. Black Wolf, the tall monk who used the black gourd to collect blood and souls, said bravely, Master, forgive me. We just feel that our cultivation is too low, and we are afraid of embarrassing you, so we want to improve our strength as soon as possible. Gee, that's why we secretly collected blood souls to refine blood soul pills. Please forgive us this time, Master. He Lang finished speaking in one breath and buried his head deeply on the ground again. He knew the temper of Master Sui-un very well. To describe it in one word, he was moody. Their performance just now must have been noticed by him. He was pretentious. Covering up with words will only make things worse than telling the truth. You are quite honest. The anger in Venerable Sui-un's voice has subsided a lot. I can spare you once today, but remember, next time, I will refine you into blood soul pills. The three men of He Lang breathed a sigh of relief and were about to sing praises to Venerable Sui-un when suddenly a loud shout rang out, Bold monster! How dare you seize human souls and do such things that are outrageous to both humans and gods? A stream of light shot from the western sky, revealing a figure in front of the blood cloud, but it was a white-faced and beardless monk in the late stage of foundation establishment. There was a machine bird made of ironwood under his feet, with a righteous look on his face. Boy, are you talking to me? The blood cloud started to roll, and a voice like a demonic voice came out from it again, you are quite courageous. You dare to call me a monster? I guess you claim to be a decent person from a famous family, right? The black wolf who was kneeling on the ground suddenly jumped up, with a flash of anger on his face and cursed loudly, where did you come from, a guy who doesn't know how to be humble? He talks so arrogantly, are you tired of living? I am He Xiao, a disciple of Qinji section. You monsters dare to use evil magic to collect people's souls within the jurisdiction of Qinji section. You simply don't know how to live or die. Those who know the truth will release the collected souls and follow me. If you go back to Kinji sect and plead guilty, you may be given a lighter sentence. If not, the masters of Kinji sect, will definitely beat you to dust and never be reincarnated. He Xiao's words were righteous. In his opinion, as long as the name Kinjiman was used, these unscrupulous monsters would be frightened into pale faces and follow him back to Kinjiman for trial. Where did this idiot come from? His head was squeezed by the door and he couldn't get through. How could such an idiot come out of Kinjiman? He actually said such stupid things to a master of the demon sect in the Dantian stage. Isn't this looking for death? Lin Su, who was hiding aside, almost jumped up in fright at He Xiao's self-righteous words. He cursed in his heart that this guy had no brains and dared to speak nonsense in front of a master in the Dantian stage. He really didn't know how to write the word death, and he didn't know how to write the word death. How did this guy reach the late stage of foundation building safely? A disciple of Kinjiman. There was a hint of surprise in the voice coming out of the blood cloud, and He Xiao couldn't help but feel proud. How about it, are you afraid? Then just follow Master Dao and I will go back and plead guilty. Master Dao, I may be able to intercede for you. Afraid? Ha ha ha. The blood cloud rolled violently, and the disdainful laughter of Lord Suiyun could be heard. Don't say that you are a junior, even if Kinjiza comes in person, I will not be afraid of him. Boy, I will be destroyed today. I want to see what Kinjiman can do to me. A big bloody hand stretched out from the blood cloud and grabbed the frightened He Xiao like a chicken. Rightward arrow. You, what do you want to do? Let go. If you dare to hurt me, Kinjiman will never forgive you. It's already this late and he still wants to bluff people with the name of Kinjiman. This guy is really stupid. Lin Su sighed in his heart, without any intention of helping him. It's not worth it to put himself in danger for such a fool. Noisy boy, die. With a cold snort, the bloody big hand suddenly tightened, and He Xiao was crushed into a ball of blood mist before he could even scream, and his soul was taken into the red cloud. The flesh, blood, and soul of a foundation-building cultivator are indeed much more delicious than those of ordinary mortals. Venerable Blood Cloud sighed with satisfaction. The Thousand Machine sect is really not as good as before. Such a fool is actually accepted into the sect. It seems that the day of the rise of my demon sect is not far away. After a pause, Venerable Blood Cloud instructed the three black wolves, today, I have received the flesh, blood, and soul of this foundation-building cultivator. I am in a good mood. The blood, energy, and souls you three collected before are considered as rewards from me. Remember, you must work hard for me in the future. As soon as the voice fell, the blood cloud rose into the sky and disappeared into the sky in a flash. Huh. Finally gone. The old ghost in the Jindan stage is really scary. The late foundation building He Xiao was like a little chicken in his hand and was crushed to death without any resistance. Fortunately, I didn't act impulsively just now. Originally, with the spiritual sense-sensing ability of a Jindan stage cultivator, even if Lin Su hid well, he would still be discovered, but perhaps because the bloody aura was too strong in the battlefield deep here, covering up Lin Su's breath, or perhaps the appearance of He Xiao distracted the attention of the blood cloud venerable. In short, Lin Su was lucky to escape. It's a close call. Fortunately, the idiot from the Kinji gate appeared just now, otherwise it would be difficult for us to escape today. Black Wolf breathed a sigh of relief. The character of the blood cloud venerable was unpredictable. Although he said at the beginning that he would spare them, who knew whether it was true or not? If it weren't for the appearance of He Xiao, what would happen to them today was really unpredictable. Brother, Master just said that the blood soul pill refined today belongs to us. We were not punished, but benefited instead. We really have to thank that idiot named He, haha. But with the cultivation of the late foundation building stage, he dared to talk to Master like that. This guy from the Thousand Machine sect is really stupid. but he is stupid in a good way, stupid in a wonderful way. The other two demon sect cultivators also looked relieved. He Lang took out the black gourd and shook it. After hearing the sound of the pill shaking inside, he smiled with satisfaction. He opened the lid and poured out 4 blood-colored pills that exuded bursts of strange fragrance. 4 blood soul pills have been condensed, just 1 for each person, and the remaining 1 will be handed over to Master. Do you have any objections, 2 brothers? No objection, of course no objection. The 2 demon sect cultivators responded in unison. They naturally knew that the so-called blood soul pill handed over to Venerable Swayoon would definitely go into He Lang's own pocket, but they were already very satisfied to be able to share a blood soul pill. They don't have any objections, but I do. Who is it? The 3 black wolves were shocked and turned to look in the direction of the sound. They saw a young man in purple clothes coming out from behind the bushes 10 meters away, looking at them with a sneer. It was Lin Su, a cultivator in the foundation building period. The cold sweat on Black Wolf's head swish fell down. Lin Su showed up after the blood cloud venerable left. He must have been sure of defeating them. Without waiting for Lin Su to answer, he took out a small black flag and was about to cast a spell to run away. Want to run? Can you run away? Seeing that Black Wolf had taken out a small black flag and released a black cloud, it was obvious that he wanted to escape. Lin Su sneered and stretched out his hand to cast a spell, Bing Fire God Thunder, quick. Boom. A fiery red lightning flashed above Black Wolf's head and hit the 3 black wolves wrapped in the black cloud. The black air was instantly defeated. The 3 screamed and flew out. Their bodies were charred black. It seemed that they were only exhaling but not inhaling. So powerful. Lin Su was a little surprised. This was his first time using the 5 elements divine thunder. He just used it to defeat the black cloud and prevent the 3 people from escaping. He didn't use his full strength. He didn't expect it to still have such a great destructive power. It was just the first layer of the 5 elements divine thunder that had such a magical effect. What about the final Xianxia 5 elements heavenly thunder? Lin Su couldn't help but feel a little excited. He shook his head and threw these thoughts out of his mind. He walked in front of the 3 people. Without saying much, he directly searched the soul of the 2 demon sect monks except He Lang. Then, in the horrified eyes of He Lang, he shot out 2 flames and burned the bodies of the 2 people to ashes. Spare my life. Spare my life. I promise you everything. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 64. Black Wolf was about to collapse. Who was this evil star that suddenly appeared? He beat the 3 of them half to death with a casual blow. Without saying a word, he just searched for souls and destroyed the corpses and traces. Now he is sealed. He was walking with his sword in full swing. What on earth did he want to do? Lin Su's face was as dark as water at this moment, and he drove the Kingbo sword with all his strength to fly towards Danyang City. From the soul search just now, he learned about a shocking conspiracy. At this moment, his heart was turned upside down. Because of this, he spared He Lang's life and prepared to take him back to Sword God sect for personal interrogation by the leader and elders. Flying at full strength, in just half an hour, Lin Su had arrived at the Danyang City Lord's mansion and stopped Yihan directly in the backyard garden. Master Immortal, what happened? Yihan's heart skipped a beat when he saw Lin Su's expression. Then he saw that Lin Su was holding a man whose whole body was charred, and he knew that something big must have happened. City Master Yi Xiao, I need you to do something for me. If you have any orders from Master Immortal, just tell me, I will do my best. I am rushing back to the Sword God section. Please send a message to the Qinji sect, saying that the demon sect is brewing a shocking conspiracy. He Xiao, a disciple of the Qinji sect, has been killed by Master Swayoon, a master of the demon sect's alchemy stage. If they ask about the person who sent the message, just say it is Lin Su, the head disciple of the Sword God section. Do you remember clearly? A disciple of the head of the Sword God sect. Yihan thought that Lin Su had a good background, but he did not expect that he was a disciple of the head of the Sword God sect, one of the 5 immortal sections. He did not dare to be careless at the moment, and carefully wrote down Lin Su's instructions. Don't worry, Master Immortal, I must find a way to spread the news. This jade slip is for you. It contains the cultivation techniques. You only need to hold the jade slip and say G to watch it. It's up to you how far you can go. Yihan has helped Lin Su a lot these days. Lin Su is not a stingy person, so he gave Yihan the simplified body refining method in the Xiantian Baojian. A warrior without spiritual consciousness cannot read the contents of the jade slip. So Lin Su left a trace of true energy in the jade slip, which could be manifested as long as Yihan chanted the spell. As for whether Yihan would share this body training technique with Yi Tianxing, this was not within the scope of Lin Su's consideration. Thank you, Master Immortal, for your kindness. Don't worry, Master Immortal, I guarantee with my life that I will pass on your words to Master Immortal. Please accept my respect. Yihan was overjoyed and tremblingly took the jade slip and bowed his head. When he raised his head, Lin Su had already raised his sword and disappeared into the horizon. You have to get the word to Qinjimin quickly, otherwise I won't be able to afford the delay. Carefully putting the jade slips away close to his body, Yihan hurried to the meeting hall. The matter was serious and he had to have a good discussion with his father Yi Tianxing, report the news to the court as soon as possible, and send a message to Qinjimin. It turns out that you are a disciple of the head of the Sword God sect, no wonder you would take action against us. High in the sky, Lin Su was holding He Lang in his left hand, and was flying towards the Sword God sect with his sword at full speed. The conversation between Lin Su and Yihan just now was not transmitted, but He Lang heard it clearly, and he suddenly screamed in his heart that it was bad luck. First the Qinji sect, and now the Sword God section. How come the people from these 5 major immortal sects are all targeting them so quickly? No wonder Lord Suiyun wants them to calm down for a while. He must have noticed something. He Lang is so regretful now that his intestines are green. He should have known better than to risk collecting blood souls for the blood soul pill. Now the blood soul pill together with the soul collecting gourd was snatched away by Lin Su, and his life was still in the opponent's hands. How could it be such a tragedy? Senior, I'm just a small character. It's useless for you to catch me. Why don't you let me go? I'll tell you everything I know. He Lang's cultivation level was blocked. At this moment, his life is small. What matters is that he no longer cares about the strong wind in the sky and insists on begging for mercy. Senior, God is kind to you, so just let me go. I promise to tell you everything I know, and I will tell you everything. Senior, He really didn't expect that the demon sect monk named He Lang would be so verbose. Lin Su, who was very annoyed, used his hand hard and injected a stream of true energy into He Lang's body to seal his mute point. I want to. What do you know? I just need to search for my soul. Do you need to tell me? It's so noisy. Continuing to rush towards the Sword God sect to wield the sword at full speed, Lin Su mentally recalled the shocking news he learned during the soul search. It turns out that the demon sect has been secretly operating in the world of immortality since 10 years ago. They disguised themselves as disciples of the 5 major immortal sects and attacked some remote small and medium-sized sects, plundering the resources and souls of the monks to improve their cultivation and refine magic weapons. Among them was Xiun sect, the former sect of Lin Su and Zhang Yunfan. Lin Su has always believed that the Xiun sect was destroyed by the Sword God section. This is why although he joined the Sword God sect, he has never been able to integrate into it. Now he knows that the destruction of the Xiun sect almost killed him. The person with Zhang Yunfan was not a disciple of the Sword God sect, but someone from the demon sect pretending to be one. Knowing this, Lin Su suddenly felt that the knot that had been hidden deep in his heart was opened, and his thoughts became clearer. If the matter was not too serious, he must report it back to the sect immediately. Lin Su really had to find someone with sufficient spiritual energy immediately. The urge to practice somewhere. No wonder I met senior sister Xiaoling in Liaoyuan Valley at that time. I thought they were hunting down the surviving disciples of the Ziyun section. Now I think they were going to investigate the annihilation of the Ziyun sect. The two disciples of the demon sect who were searched by Lin Su were too low in cultivation and had limited knowledge. They were not very clear about the purpose of the demon sect in framing the 5 immortal sects in this way. Even the secular affairs under the jurisdiction of the Qinji sect. This time there were wars everywhere in the dynasty, and they only knew that they wanted to collect blood souls. As for the purpose of collecting blood souls on such a large scale, they didn't know, but it was definitely not simple. Continuously flying at full strength was too much even for Lin Su, who had 9 Dantians. After flying for several days, Lin Su had to press the sword light and rest next to a waterfall. He took out the elixir from his storage bag and took it. Lin Su used the Xiantian Beijian to restore his true energy. He Lang was still aside. Anyway, this guy's true energy had been sealed and he wanted to run away. Can't run away either. Call out. Lin Su, who was recovering his true energy, suddenly heard a strange noise coming from beside him. He opened his eyes and saw a stream of light rushing into the air and suddenly exploded, blooming into a pattern of a bloody skull. It disappeared in a flash, and one of them burst into flames. The blood light shot toward him suddenly and merged into his body before he could react. What did you do? Lin Su was shocked. He checked his body but found nothing strange. He immediately rushed to He Lang and picked him up by the collar. He saw that this guy's mouth kept moving but he didn't move at all. No sound came out, and then he remembered that he had sealed his dumb hole, and quickly opened it with a wave of his hand. I have sent out 1,000-mile sound-transmitting blood arrow. Master will soon receive the message and chase me. You have been hit by my blood mark and you can't run away. You are dead, dead, ha ha ha. He Lang laughed maniacally. He finally saw that Lin Su had no intention of letting him go, so he took advantage of Lin Su's unpreparedness and used his life essence to launch the 1,000-mile sound-transmitting blood arrow. There are traces of blood imprinted on his body. This secret technique is activated at the cost of life and does not require real energy to activate it. Lin Su never thought that He Lang could be so ruthless and would rather die than use him as a backer. Seeing He Lang's breath getting stronger and stronger while laughing wildly. He was getting weaker and weaker, and Lin Su didn't care that his true energy had not yet fully recovered. He gritted his teeth and raised his sword light and flew into the air at full speed towards the Sword God sect. You can't escape, you can't escape. Black Wolf's miserable laughter before his death echoed in Lin Su's ears, like a demonic voice urging death. Lin Su's face was extremely gloomy, and he secretly cursed himself for being careless. At that time, Black Wolf's ability to move should have been blocked as well. The monks in the pill formation stage can turn into light and fly, and their speed is completely different from the sword flying of the monks in the foundation establishment stage. Lin Su doesn't know when Venerable Blood Cloud will catch up. Now that he has been hit by the blood mark, he can't fly at all. Knowing how to eliminate it, I can only run away as fast as possible, hoping to enter the airspace of the Sword God sect before the opponent catches up. After flying like this for 2 days, Lin Su was about to enter the territory of the Sword God section just when Lin Su breathed a sigh of relief. Suddenly a trembling feeling from his soul surged into his heart, and his face changed drastically. No, I'm catching up. Sure enough, a moment later, a familiar bloody and evil aura came from behind. Lin Su looked back and saw a blood cloud chasing him at an alarming speed. At the same time, a hoarse and cold voice also came from a distance. He came over and said, "Boy, stop for me. Otherwise, when I catch you, you will be unable to survive or die. Tell me to stop, do you think I'm stupid? If I really listen to you and stop, then I really can't live or die." Lin Su could see He Xiao's fate clearly. Not only did he die without a complete body, but even his soul was sucked completely. Lin Su did not believe that Lord Suiyun would let him go if he stopped and gave up resisting. Gritting his teeth, Lin Su opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood essence that merged into the sword light of the Kingbo sword. Suddenly, the flying speed of the sword became a little faster. "Boy, you can't run away. If you don't stop, I won't be polite." Dozens of miles ahead was the airspace of the Sword God sect, and Lord Suiyun was a little anxious. If he really alerted the Sword God sect's pill-forming monks in order to catch Lin Su, he might not get a good deal, not to mention that the Sword God sect still had with the unfathomable Xiang ancestor. Even though Venerable Suiyun was confident, he didn't think he could fight against the monks at the nascent soul stage. Seeing that Lin Su turned a deaf ear and ran away a little faster, Venerable Suiyun's eyes flashed with anger, and the blood cloud wrapped around his body surged, condensing a blood arrow, and swished towards Lin Su's back shot over. Not good. The blood arrow was so fast that Lin Su only had time to deflect the sword light a little before he was shot straight on. He felt a sweetness in his throat and a mouthful of blood spurted out. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 65. The attack of the monk in the pill-forming stage was so powerful that Lin Su's true energy shield did not even have any blocking effect. The blood arrow passed directly through Lin Su's right chest, piercing a fist-sized blood hole under his ribs. At the same time, an extremely dark blood evil energy eroded away from the wound towards Lin Su's meridians. Lin Su's true energy stagnated, and the sword light of the Kingbo sword suddenly became a little unstable. At the critical moment, the Dantian space once again exerted its magical effect. The blood evil energy was quickly absorbed by the Dantian space. The true energy in Lin Su's body was temporarily running back to normal. "Asshole, this old devil is really cruel." Holding back the severe pain in his right chest, Lin Su directly injected the spurted blood into the sword light of Kingbo sword, and accelerated towards the front, where he could already see the iconic sword of the Sword God sect in the distance. "The mountains are floating in the sky. How is that possible?" Seeing the blood arrow hitting Lin Su, the speed of Lin Su's sword light suddenly slowed down. A proud smile appeared on Lord Suiyun's face. He was about to catch up with him, but he saw that Lin Su stabilized his figure again and his speed did not slow down. Anti-Zeng escaped faster, and he couldn't help but be surprised. His blood arrows are completely condensed from the blood evil energy. Let alone the monks in the foundation building stage, even the monks in the pill formation stage can drink a pot if they are careless. Lin Su can actually act like a normal person. Continue to flee? Lord Suiyun was so stunned that his speed unconsciously slowed down a lot when he recovered and wanted to pursue him again. Lin Su had already entered the airspace of the Sword God sect. "Boy, your fortune is good." A monk with a sword has already flown over from the direction of the Sword God section. Ancestor Suiyun knew that if he delayed any longer, he would not be able to leave until the Sword God sect's pill-forming monks were attracted. Cursing bitterly, Venerable Suiyun set up the Suiyun and turned around and walked away. "It's Lin Zi. Lin Zi is back." It was Zhang Yunfan who flew towards Lin Su. Since returning to Sword God sect, apart from going to see his master holding the sword, Elder Jianmi, he has always been stationed at the mountain gate of Sword God sect, just to wait for Lin Su's return. Anyway, Zhang Yunfan is a Tianligan cultivator, and his cultivation is improving very quickly. It is the same wherever he practices. Jianmi persuaded him a few times and let him go. "Linzi, how come you were so seriously injured? What bastard did this?" Zhang Yunfan was overjoyed at first when he saw Lin Su return, and then he couldn't help being shocked and angry after seeing Lin Su's injuries clearly. "Yunfan, take me to see the leader, I." Seeing Zhang Yunfan supporting him, Lin Su felt relieved. The pain in his right chest could no longer be suppressed. His vision went dark and he fainted in Zhang Yunfan's arms. "Linzi, Linzi." Damn it! Cursing, Zhang Yunfan hugged the unconscious Lin Su and flew towards the sect's spiritual grass garden. Although Lin Su asked Zhang Yunfan to take him to see the leader Duan Tianshang, in Zhang Yunfan's view, Jian Ling's uncle master is obviously much more trustworthy than Lin Su's master, Duan Tianshang. What's more, Lin Su is seriously injured now, so it would be more appropriate to leave it to Master Jian Lingzi. Who hurt him? Since Lin Su left, the disciples responsible for taking care of the Linko garden have been changing. No disciple has ever been able to work in the Linko garden for 2 full months. The cabin where Lin Su lived before has also been empty, except for Lin Su. Only Zhang Yunfan and Zizuer can freely enter the backyard of Linko garden without being punished by Jian Lingzi. Seeing Zhang Yunfan holding the seriously injured Lin Su, a cold light flashed in Jian Lingzi's eyes. With his strength, he could naturally tell that Lin Su's injury was definitely caused by a master. I don't know. I only saw a blood cloud flying away behind the forest, and the shadow disappeared in the blink of an eye. It should be a monk in the pill formation stage. Although it was just a glimpse, the powerful aura of Lord Suiyun still left a deep impression on Zhang Yunfan. Forget it, it's important to treat Lin Su's injuries first. It won't be too late to ask other questions after he wakes up. Although he did not have the title of master and disciple, Jian Lingzi had already regarded Lin Su as his disciple in his heart. Seeing Lin Su being seriously injured at this moment, he felt extremely angry in his heart, but it was important to treat Lin Su, and Jian Lingzi also he could only temporarily suppress his anger and doubts and cast a spell to heal Lin Su's injuries. After feeding Lin Su 2 pills that promote muscle growth and blood circulation, Jian Lingzi drew mysterious tracks with his hands to form a seal. Wood spiritual energy full of endless vitality poured out from the seal and penetrated into Lin Su. Within Su's body, Lin Su's injured meridians and flesh and bones began to be repaired. As if feeling the stimulation of Jian Lingzi's wood spirit energy, the wood and water Dantian that had been in a closed state due to Lin Su's serious injury and coma came to life, and streams of wood and water elements spontaneously followed the Xiantian Beiji and the exercise route started to run, and finally converged on Lin Su's injured right chest, and began to spontaneously repair Lin Su's injured body. What a good boy, your self-healing ability is pretty good. Feeling that Lin Su's body began to repair itself, Jian Lingzi's eyes flashed, a smile appeared on his face, and he withdrew the seal. It's nothing serious. This kid is very tough. Let him recover for a few days and he will wake up. Jian Lingzi's words finally made Zhang Yunfan feel relieved. He recalled what Lin Su said before he fell into coma. He seemed to have something to report to the leader Duan Tianshang, so he complained to Jian Lingzi. He quickly walked out of the spiritual grass garden, set up his sword light and flew towards Tianjian Peak. Rightward arrow. Lin Su is back, and he was chased by the monks in the Danja stage and was seriously injured and fell into coma. After hearing the news that Lin Su had returned from a serious injury, Duan Tianshang had an inexplicable meaning in his eyes. After thinking for a while, he stood up and walked towards the outside of the cave. Follow me to the Linko garden. One trip. Yes, master. Duan Yu, who was standing aside, responded, followed Duan Tianshang out of the cave, set up his sword and flew towards the Linko garden. I'm still alive. Xiao Linzi, are you awake? After being in a coma for 3 days, Lin Su woke up. As soon as he opened his eyes, he saw Zizouer's surprised and pretty face, and there seemed to be a faint trace of tears in the corners of her eyes. Lin Zi, you finally woke up? If you don't wake up, brother, I will drown in Zuiyer's tears. In the entire Sword God sect, only Zhang Yunfan would joke like this in front of Zizuer. Zizuer told Zhang Yunfan to notify her as soon as Lin Su came back, so Zhang Yunfan sent Zizuer a message on the way to Tianjian Peak. Got the news. Zizuer came over full of joy, only to see Lin Su who was seriously injured and in a coma. In her excitement, She couldn't help but act a little bit pretentious, and Zhang Yunfan saw it all. Yunfan, what are you talking about? Seeing that Zizhou was a little shy, Lin Su glared at Zhang Yunfan and asked, how long have I been unconscious? 3 whole days. Zizhou still looked at Lin Su with some worry. Xiao Linzi, you are seriously injured. If it weren't for senior brother Jian Ling's assurance that you would be fine, I would have asked Dad to take action. Are you okay? I think it should be fine. Lin Su sat up and moved his body. The wound had recovered, but the pain seemed to still be there. Lin Su knew that this was his illusion. Looking inside, his meridians, flesh and bones had returned to their original state. The only change is probably that there is a trace of blood evil in the poison attribute Dantian, and the toxicity in the true essence has become more intense. It seems that I have never thought of using poison as an attack method. Maybe I can try it in the future. Feeling the strong corrosive power contained in the poison attribute Dantian, Lin Su suddenly had an idea in his mind. In many cases, using poison attribute attacks is often more difficult to guard against. Lin Zi, who hurt you? What is that blood cloud? Zhang Yunfan's reminder suddenly made Lin Su think of something more important. Where is the headmaster? I have something important to report to him. This sect has been here a long time ago. The voice of the leader Duan Tianshang came from outside the door, and then the door was pushed open. Duan Tianshang, Jian Lingzi, and Jian Mi walked in one after another. However, the faces of the 3 of them did not look very good. It seemed that Duan Tianshang was rumored to have the bad relationship between Tianshang, Jian Lingzi, and Jian Mi is not groundless. Duan Tianshang was also sighing in his heart at this moment. This was probably the first time in 10 years that he had stepped into the Linko garden without being blocked by Jian Lingzi. The face of his little disciple was really big. Suer, do you have anything important to tell me? It's like this. After my disciple escaped from the ancient wilderness, he returned all the way with his sword and accidentally discovered that the demon sect seemed to be brewing a huge conspiracy. Lin Su told everything he saw and heard along the way, including what he gained from soul searching. Of course, he did not forget to mention that he was chased by Lord Bloodcloud and was seriously injured. There is such a thing. Duan Tianshang's face darkened. No wonder there are always rumors in recent years that our sword god sect is exterminating small sections. It turns out that people from the demon sect are causing trouble. Jian Ling's face also became very ugly, but when he heard Lin Su say that there were blood marks on his body, his expression moved slightly, and he grabbed Lin Su's wrist like lightning, and looked into Lin Su's body to see a ray of true energy. Stand up. Of course, because of the spirit field space, Jian Lingzi did not find out that Lin Su had 9 major Dantians. After checking and finding nothing out of the ordinary, his expression softened slightly. It seems that the person who planted the blood mark on you is a cultivator. You are not high and your energy and blood are not enough. This blood mark has dissipated, so I guess that venerable blood cloud will no longer be able to track you down. The blood seal technique is a unique skill of the demon section. It condenses the essence and blood of the whole body and uses it to carve a mark on others at the cost of their lives. As long as the blood mark does not dissipate, they can be traced even if they are thousands of miles apart. Fortunately, He Lang was already seriously injured at the time. And the cultivation level has not reached the foundation building stage, and the blood seal has dissipated in a few days. Lin Su does not have to worry about being targeted by Lord Suiyun again when he leaves the Sword God sect in the future. Venerable Suiyun, I have never heard of this person. I never thought that after the demon sect had been silent for thousands of years, such a master would emerge. It's just that his character is too low, and he actually attacks the younger generation. If he is encountered by me, he will definitely teach him a lesson. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 66. P.S. If you want to hear more of your voices and receive more of your suggestions, search for the WeChat public account Dread and follow it now to give more support to Dantian has a little field. Xianxia's face was full of disdain and coldness. Lin Su did not doubt what he said at all. If Venerable Suiyun really met this uncle, he would probably be in trouble. Although he had not seen Xianxia take action, Lin Su felt intuitively that Xianxia's combat power must be above the headmaster Duan Tianshang. Senior brother Mi, junior brother Ling, follow me to the meeting hall. This matter is serious and we need to convene the elders of the sect to discuss countermeasures. Although they usually don't get along with Duan Tianshang, Jian Lingzi and Xianxia can't help but give Duan Tianshang, the headmaster, face on how to deal with the conspiracy of the demon sect, so they nodded. When leaving, Jian Lingzi threw a bottle of pills to Lin Su, asking him to recover in the cabin in the front yard. Lin Su took it without hesitation, which made Duan Tianshang look a little ugly. He looked at Lin Su deeply and left without saying a word. Junior brother, you can recover at ease. I will come to see you when I am free. Duan Yu smiled at Lin Su awkwardly, followed Duan Tianshang's back and chased out. Only Lin Su, Zhang Yunfan, Zi Zuier, and Duan Xiaoling were left in the cabin. Pooh. After Duan Tianshang and the others left, Zhang Yunfan spat heavily and turned to look at Duan Xiaoling beside him. Ling your father is too much, isn't he? Linzi is his disciple after all, but he didn't even show any warm care and greetings. How can he be a master like this? Dad is indeed a bit too much. Duan Xiaoling's face was a little embarrassed, but he is my dad after all, so I can't say much. I'm sorry, little junior brother. It's nothing, I'm used to it. Lin Su shook his head. Although he never had any illusions about Duan Tianshang, he still felt a little cold. He risked his life to bring back the news of the demon sect, but Duan Tianshang didn't give him any reward, let alone a word of comfort. This behavior wiped out the last bit of Lin Su's friendship with the Sword God sect. Seeing that Lin Su was somewhat bored and Duan Xiaoling was also embarrassed, Zhang Yunfan sighed helplessly and said no more. Although Zi Zuier was also a little indignant, she could only choose to keep silent when she saw Duan Xiaoling's expression. Regarding his experience in the ancient domain of the wilderness, Lin Su only mentioned that he was trapped in the secret realm and finally escaped. After chatting for a while, Zhang Yunfan and the other two left the spiritual grass garden. Lin Su swallowed the pill given by Jian Lingzi, and while practicing, he thought about his future. When the demon sect, which had been hidden for many years, reappeared, the cultivation world would probably be in chaos for a long time in the future. There must be many masters in the Jindan stage of the demon sect like the Blood Cloud Venerable. Without accumulating enough power, how dare they show up easily? When the battle between good and evil begins, there will surely be a series of wars. With Duan Tianshang's attitude towards Lin Su, it is hard to say that he will not send him to the front-line battlefield as cannon fodder. Although Lin Su is confident, he does not think that he can survive in such a large-scale battle in the world of immortal cultivation. Apart from anything else, a Jindan stage master like Sui Unzun can easily kill him. I can't wade into this muddy water. It's better for me to leave the Sword God sect and travel around the world. It's just right to take Zuier with me, which can be regarded as fulfilling my promise to Zuier. Lin Su made up his mind that he would never participate in the battle between good and evil between the 5 major immortal sects and the demon section. He would find an opportunity to leave the Sword God sect and travel around the world. The world of immortal cultivation is so big, and the places he has been to now are just the tip of the iceberg. Why should he be trapped in the Sword God sect? If Zhang Yunfan is willing, then call Zhang Yunfan together, but Lin Su estimated that the boy might not be willing to leave. Zhang Yunfan is different from Lin Su. Perhaps because of his high talent, he has always cultivated naturally, so he likes stability and does not like adventure. In the Sword God sect, Zhang Yunfan has a master like Jianmi to protect him. No matter who goes to the battlefield, it will not be his turn. It is not a problem for him to cultivate to the nascent soul stage smoothly. Moreover, Lin Su has seen today that Zhang Yunfan and Duan Xiaoling have some ambiguous expressions. They are probably in love. If so, Zhang Yunfan probably won't leave Duan Xiaoling and follow him to venture out. But it doesn't matter. There is no feast that will not end. Whether they are together in the future or not, Zhang Yunfan is Lin Su's best brother in this life, no one else. As for Zizuir, this girl is very kind and simple. Maybe it's because she grew up under the care of Xiang Patriarch. In addition, she is very talented and has not experienced any setbacks and storms. Therefore, she is very yearning for the outside world. Lin Su couldn't tell how deep his feelings for Zizuir were, but he could never forget the otherworldly figure in the lotus pond, who looked like a banished celestial being from the ninth heaven. From that moment on, this girl was engraved in his heart. If he wanted to leave the Sword God sect, he must let Zizuir go with him and stay with him. Strange, what am I thinking about? Lin Su suddenly felt a little amused. When did he become so sentimental? Shaking his head to suppress his chaotic emotions, Lin Su activated the defensive formation of the cabin. If he wanted to travel around, the stronger the better. Lin Su possesses the 9 Dantians and is much stronger than monks of the same level. However, it is several times more difficult for him to improve his cultivation than ordinary people. He cannot do it until the true energy lakes in the 9 Dantians are completely filled with the entire Dantian. The method is to break through to the middle stage of foundation building, and this cannot be achieved in a short time. However, improving strength is not the only way to improve your cultivation. Secret spells are also an important part of it. After breaking through to the foundation building stage, Lin Su can already continue to practice the subsequent chapter of Dian Divine Art and divide his spiritual consciousness into 2 parts. 4. But it has been delayed until now because of the trip to the ancient wilderness. Now that I have decided to leave the Sword God sect and go out for a career, I naturally have to reach the 4th level of spiritual consciousness before leaving and try my best to improve my own strength. Taking a deep breath, Lin Su controlled a piece of consciousness and entered the spirit field space. The splitting blade of consciousness emerged beside him and cut his humanoid consciousness in half with one knife. Ah! The cut upper half of the humanoid soul howled and rolled to the ground, twitching violently. Although it was the second time he had experienced this kind of pain, the severe pain that made the soul tremble was still so unbearable. As soon as the lower half of the body disappeared, the upper half of the body in the Dantian space stretched out and formed a complete human form again, becoming much more illusory like last time. After the pain subsided, Lin Su replaced another intact consciousness into the spiritual field space and cut it in half. There was another severe pain, which was more unbearable than before. He didn't know if it was because of the pain. Because the pain is superimposed. This Dian Divine Art is indeed wonderful, but his grandma's is really painful. In the midst of howling miserably, Lin Su couldn't help but uttered curse words. This was just the division of consciousness into 2 parts. In the future, the 4 parts will be divided into 8 parts, and the 8 parts will be divided into 16 parts. When the time comes, he will have to experience this unbearable pain twice as much. Lin Su felt frightened just thinking about it. Finally, the pain slowly subsided and finally disappeared. Lin Su withdrew his consciousness from the spiritual field space and felt that his whole body was completely soaked with sweat, as if he had experienced a continuous fierce battle. However, the effect is also very obvious. Lin Su can now use 4 different magic techniques at the same time, and his strength is much stronger than before. In the next year, Lin Su did not step out of the cabin. While running the Dian Divine Art to warm and strengthen his 4 divine consciousnesses, he continued to absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to fill the true essence lakes in the 9 Dantians. The four split divine souls have slowly grown under the care of the Dian divine art to a level comparable to the original two divine consciousnesses. According to the records on the Dian divine art, if you want to succeed as a god, the 8th level of awareness requires at least a breakthrough to the elixir formation stage. The true energy lake in the 9 Dantians has increased a lot, but if you just practice in seclusion like this, I'm afraid it won't be possible to fill the entire Dantian in less than 10 years. It's time to leave the Sword God sect. After dismantling the formation, Lin Su left the cabin. He originally wanted to say goodbye to Jianlingzi, but Lin Su discovered that Jianlingzi was not in the cabin in the backyard. There seems to be something wrong with this atmosphere. After leaving the Linko garden, Lin Su walked towards the back mountain of Lingjian Peak. He had already sent a message to Zizuer using the sound transmission jade slip left by Zizuer, asking her to meet at the lotus pond where they first met. Along the way, Lin Su found that the usually bustling Lingjian Peak was surprisingly quiet. Occasionally, he encountered a few disciples who were in a hurry and frowning. He suddenly felt a bad premonition in his heart. Zuier, what happened? Why did I feel that the sect's atmosphere was so weird as soon as I came out of seclusion? Not long after Lin Su arrived at the lotus pond, Zizhou rushed over with a sword light. After exchanging a few words of lovesickness, Lin Su asked the questions in his heart. The 5 great immortal sects and the demon sect are at war. Zizuer sighed and said, Xiao Linzi, the news you brought back is correct. The demon sect has indeed reappeared in the world, and it is extremely powerful. The 5 major immortal sects officially formed an alliance half a year ago to jointly fight against the demon section. Not long ago, senior brother Jianmi met the venerable Suiyun who was chasing you and had a battle with him. What's the result? Uncle Jianmi wasn't injured, right? Of course I win. Senior brother Jianmi is the #1 person in our Sword God sect's pill formation stage. This is what my father said personally. Zizuer sighed with some regret. It's a pity that Venerable Blood Cloud's methods were too weird. When he saw that he couldn't defeat senior brother Jianmi, he turned into a streak of blood and escaped. I heard that it was the demon sect's blood shadow escape, which was extremely fast. Senior brother Jianmi failed to catch up. What is the current situation of the fighting between the two sides? Lin Su suddenly realized, no wonder he felt that the atmosphere was so weird. It turned out that the battle between good and evil had already begun. Let's win or lose. The demon sect is showing great strength, and the 5 immortal sects don't dare to attack rashly. Now we are in a stalemate. My novel Dantian has a bit of field will be updated on the official WeChat platform. What fresh content, and there is also a 100% lucky draw gift for everyone. Open WeChat now, click on the plus sign on the upper right to add friend, search the official account Dread and follow it. Hurry up, Dantian has a little field author, the Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 67. P.S. I want to hear more of your voices and receive more of your suggestions. Now search the WeChat public account Dread and follow it to give more support to Dantian Dantian. Someone among the disciples of the sect has died, right? Lin Su looked into Zizhou's eyes. The matter was definitely not as simple as a stalemate. If it was just a simple stalemate, the disciples he met along the way would not all have panic expressions on their faces. War is always accompanied by death. Zizhou smiled bitterly. This is what the head brother said. These days, disciples are constantly being selected and sent to the front lines of the Dantian dynasty. Many of them never come back, and no one knows who they are. Will it be the next one? These selected disciples originally included me, right? Zizhou was silent, while Lin Su nodded in understanding. His guess was correct. Duan Tianchang really wanted to send him to the front line to die. It seems that the reason why he can stay in the sect until now is Zizhou. It may have something to do with your son, and maybe Zhang Yunfan. Zuier, I'm leaving the Sword God sect, will you come with me? Zhou's eyes widened in surprise. She never expected that Lin Su would ask to leave at this time. Except for a few people in the current Sword God sect, there is nothing worthy of my nostalgia. The world of immortal cultivation is so big, and what we have seen is just the tip of the iceberg. I want to see it. Zuier, don't you also want to see what's outside the world? Come with me. Looking at Lin Su's expectant eyes, Zhou hesitated a little. She really wanted to see the outside world, but now was the time when the war between the 5 immortal sects and the demon sect had just begun. At this time, leaving the Sword Shen zone doesn't seem to be doing well. Daddy is currently worried about the demon section. If I leave now, Daddy will. It turns out that this is Zhou's concern. Lin Su laughed. He couldn't guarantee anything else. Ancestor Xiang would not object to his proposal, and he might even want Zhouer to leave now. The demon sect has resurfaced after lurking for thousands of years, and its strength cannot be underestimated. The 5 major immortal sects are now only launching a tentative attack on it. Ancestor Xiang can still keep Zhou in the Sword God section to the extent of participating in the war, even if Xiang Patriarch is the Yuanying stage Patriarch of the Sword God sect. He may not be able to stop Zhou from participating in the war for his own personal gain. At this time, it is the safest to leave. Just avoid the core area where the two sides are fighting and keep a low profile. It is impossible for the Sword God sect to send people to find Lin Su and Zhouer to come back to join the battle, right? It's easy. You and I will go see Ancestor Xiang now and just ask him for his opinion. Holding Zhouer's hand, Lin Su raised his sword and flew towards the sword burial peak. In the Xiang cave. Boy, it seems that you have already made up your mind to kidnap my precious daughter, right? After hearing Lin Su's plan, Patriarch Xiang looked Lin Su up and down and smiled meaningfully. Ancestor, in front of you, I won't hide this kid anymore. To be honest, I have really wanted to leave the Sword God sect for a long time. Lin Su met the gaze of Ancestor Xiang without hesitation. I think you, Ancestor, also know the relationship between me and the headmaster. If you stay in the Sword God sect, your life will be at risk sooner or later. It's better to go out and have some adventures. After a pause, Lin Su looked at Zhouer and continued, now that the 5 major immortal sects and the demon sect are at war, it is difficult to say how far the war will develop. It is not safe for Zhouer to stay in the Sword God section. You must know this, Ancestor. I also understand that Lin Su begs the Ancestor to allow Zhouer to leave with me, and I promise to take good care of Zhouer and prevent her from getting hurt at all. After Xiang Ancestor and Lin Su looked at each other for a few seconds, they suddenly burst into laughter. You are very smart, you have seen through my mind a long time ago. Okay, I won't embarrass you, Ancestor. Zhouer can follow you leave together, but you must keep your word and protect her safety, otherwise, don't blame me for being rude to you, Ancestor. Dad, you actually agreed. Zhouer opened her mouth in surprise. She looked at Lin Su and then at Patriarch Xiang. She didn't understand why he agreed so easily to leave the Sword God sect with Lin Su. Silly daughter, if you were half as smart as Lin Su, Dad wouldn't have to worry. Ancestor Xiang stroked Zhouer's hair lovingly and sighed, this boy is right. Now that the war has begun, the 5 major sects have joined forces to fight against the demon sect, and Dad can't protect you for selfish reasons. If you stay in the Sword God sect, you will have to go to the battlefield sooner or later, so it is the safest time to leave at this time. As he spoke, Patriarch Xiang pointed at Lin Su, this kid is smarter than a monkey. With him accompanying you, Dad won't be so worried. Okay, without further ado, you can pack up and leave. Keep a low profile. Don't alarm others. Thank you, Ancestor, for your help. Lin Su bowed respectfully to the Xiang Ancestor, pulled the reluctant Zhouer out of the Xiang cave, and flew towards the holy sword front. He wanted to ask Zhang Yunfan what he meant and whether he wanted to leave the sword god sect with him. Lin Zi, are you taking Zui to leave the sword god sect? In the cave, Zhang Yunfan was stunned for a moment after hearing Lin Su's plan, then patted Lin Su on the shoulder and laughed. You still have the courage to kidnap Zui away like that, hee hee. Don't be so playful, I came here to ask if you would leave with me. After not seeing each other for a year, Zhang Yunfan's cultivation had already reached the middle stage of foundation building. Lin Su knew that this boy had not practiced well at all. The Tianligan cultivator's talent in cultivation was indeed so good that it made people jealous. Me? Hee hee, why should I follow you? Will it ruin the scenery? As expected by Lin Su, Zhang Yunfan did not want to leave the sword god sect. Lin Zi, you also know that I have always been lazy. If the Ziyun sect had not been destroyed, I would not have thought of coming to the sword god section. They are treating me like this now, it's pretty good. Besides, I can't let go of Xiaoling, hee hee. This guy really hooked up with senior sister Xiaoling. Lin Su didn't know why he thought of the word hookup, but it was quite natural to use it on Zhang Yunfan, without any abruptness and certainly no derogatory connotation. Okay, that's what I thought. Spreading his hands, Lin Su looked at Zhang Yunfan seriously. Listen, Yunfan. The battle between good and evil has begun. No one knows how long this war will last or how widespread it will be. Since you choose to stay, then protect yourself well. Be good to yourself. Remember, nothing is more important than your life. Don't take risks for the sake of impulse or fearless persistence. Don't worry, Lin Zi. Zhang Yunfan handed a glass of wine to Lin Su. I have never thought about safeguarding justice. If possible, I will always hide in the sword god section. Even if I have to go to the battlefield in the end, I will follow the master closely. Come on, I am just worrying blindly. Zhang Yunfan knows it in his heart. After taking the glass and drinking it down, Lin Su stood up and hugged Zhang Yunfan. Zi Zhouer was still waiting for him outside and wanted to leave as soon as no one noticed. I have to go, this matter should not be made public, take care. Lin Zi, when the storm is over, remember to come back and take a look. To avoid attracting attention, Zhang Yunfan did not see Lin Su off, but just watched Lin Su and Zi Zuier in front of the cave gate as they raised their swords and flew towards the gate of Tianjian Peak, quickly disappearing into the sea of clouds. Gee, we finally left the sect. Xiao Linzi, where should we go next? As soon as she left the sword god sect's airspace, Zi Zhouer became excited, and her previous look of reluctance disappeared without a trace. I want to go to Wangtian Fairy City first to see how the disciples of Wangtian Alliance are doing now. I have never been back since I left Wangtian Immortal City for so many years. The occasional news I got was from Li Hao. Thinking about it, I am really incompetent as the leader of the alliance. The reason why I agreed to found Wangtian Alliance at that time was just to add a little bit of background to myself and be able to get a portion of the spiritual stone dividends. Later, with the support of Yunmen Ling Mine, Wangtian Alliance's income from spiritual stones became very small. Later, during the trials in the wilderness ancient domain, Lin Su had never even seen Li Hao and Han Shui in person. He heard that both of them had successfully established their foundations, but they were sent to the frontline battlefield of the Dantian dynasty. I don't know what the situation is now. Now that he has left the Sword God sect, the first thing Lin Su thinks of is to visit Wangtiangxian city. He doesn't know what is happening to the two brothers Lu Gang and Lu Ruolai now, as well as Li Weiner, who once had a girlish love for her. Have you formed a Taoist couple with someone else? Wangtian Immortal City? Okay. I have long heard from my senior brothers that Wangtian Immortal City is the place where the 5 major immortal sects select their disciples. It gathers low-level monks from all over the world. I have never had the chance to see it. Ever since she was a child, Zizuer has basically never left the Sword God section. The last 1 year trip to the ancient wilderness can be counted as one, but she came and went in the jade flying boat of the second elder Fang Yan, without stopping at all. And in the ancient wilderness, there was no one around except wild beasts. In addition, Lin Su's life and death were uncertain. Zizuer was not in a good mood at all. Now that Lin Su said that he was going to Wangtian Fairy City, Zizuer's heart was filled with expectations. Because she was not in a hurry, Zizuer would be very excited to click on the sword light to watch and play with any beautiful scenery she saw. Lin Su did not rush her, and just walked and stopped. The distance that could have been reached in 1 day by flying at full speed, the two of them walked for more than 5 days. Before nightfall on the 6th day, Lin Su and Zizhou arrived at Lookout Celestial City. Zuier, wait, you can't fly directly into the city, you will be attacked by the city defense formation. Zizhou cheered and was about to fly directly into the city, but Lin Su was so frightened that he grabbed her. Wangtiangxian City is guarded by a large protective formation. If you fly in from the air, you will be attacked by the formation. Even when Jianmi came to Wangtiangxian City, he entered the city from the city gate honestly. Zizhou did not agree with this. Yes, Lin Su knows it clearly. Zuier, calm down your cultivation later and don't let people see that we are monks in the foundation building stage, otherwise it will be boring. Zizhou was also very interested in Lin Su's proposal, so the two of them quietly pressed the sword light outside Wangtian Fairy City, restrained their auras, and then walked towards the city gate. P.S. Thank you to the reader Xianxia for your continued attention and support. Thank you, Beizhu. My novel Dantian will have more fresh content on the official WeChat platform, and there will also be a 100% lucky draw gift for everyone. Open WeChat now, click on the plus sign on the upper right to add a friend, search the official account Dread and follow it. Hurry up. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 68. P.S. I want to hear more of your voices and receive more of your suggestions. Now search the WeChat public account Dread and follow it to give more support to Dantian. It seems that the Wangtian League has developed quite well in Wangtian Fairy City in recent years. Lin Su inquired about it a little, spent a low-grade spirit stone to hire someone to deliver a message to the Lugang brothers and Li Wan'er, and took Zizuer to Ziwixian Tower. The elegant room. Ziwixian Tower is the largest restaurant in Wangtiangxian City, and of course the consumption is not that high. Lin Su has always wanted to go to Ziwixian Tower to experience things, and today he finally got his wish. Brother Lin. Brother Lin. Not long after, Lu Gang, Lu Ruolai and Li Wan'er opened the door and walked in. After seeing Lin Su's appearance clearly, they couldn't help but scream in surprise. Brother Lu, Miss Lu, Wan'er, long time no see. Lin Su looked at Lu Gang and the others with a smile. The letter he sent only said that he had an appointment with an old friend. When Ziwixian met upstairs, he did not mention his name. Lu Gang and the other three were still wondering who the old friend was. He actually asked them to meet at a high-end restaurant like Ziwixian Lu. Unexpectedly, it was Lin Su. Brother Lin, it's great that you are okay. We have been worried about you when we heard that you went missing during the trial in the ancient wilderness. Not long after Lin Su returned to the sect from the ancient wilderness, Li Hao and Han Shui were sent to the front lines of the Dantian dynasty's battlefield, so the news of Lin Su's safe return did not reach the ears of Lu Gang and others in Wangtian Immortal City. Brother Lin, it's great to see you again. Who is this sister? Lu Ruolai and Li Wan'er looked at Lin Su excitedly, their eyes so hot that even Zizhou looked a little disgusted. They stretched out their hands and twisted Lin Su's waist quietly, and coughed lightly at the same time. There was a sound. Only then did Lu Ruolai and Li Wan'er notice that there was such a beautiful and refined woman like a fairy standing next to Lin Su. She seemed to be quite close to Lin Su, and they suddenly felt a thump in their hearts. Zhou, my Taoist companion. Lin Su said the word Taoist companion quite shamelessly. Zhou's face turned slightly red when he heard this, but she did not refute. Lin Su felt happy, haha, it's done. Taoist companion? That's right, only such an extraordinary woman is worthy of becoming his Taoist companion. Lu Ruolai and Li Wan'er had a look of disappointment in their eyes, and their faces were a little sad, but they still forced a smile and saluted Zhou, calling them sisters Uer. Xiao Linzi, tell me honestly, what is the relationship between you and these two good sisters? Zhouer naturally greeted Lu Ruolai and Li Wan'er with a smile on her face. She secretly sent a voice message to question Lin Su in private. At the same time, she put her hand on Lin Su's waist again. It is conceivable that if Lin Su's answer was unacceptable, if she is satisfied, the soft flesh around her waist will probably suffer again. What else does it have to do with it? I treat them all as my sisters. Lin Su called out Tianku. He naturally knew how Lu Ruolai and Li Wan'er felt about him. It was not like he had never had some turmoil in his heart, but they were not the same as him. He was now a monk in the foundation building stage. And Lu Ruolai and Li Wan'er were limited by their talents, and had not even reached the 10th level of chi refining stage, let alone established the foundation. Really? I don't think they regard you as a brother. Zhou snorted lightly, but no longer struggled with the issue and put her hand down from Lin Su's waist. Brother Lu, Miss Lu, and Sister Wan'er, we haven't seen each other for many years. How are you doing? How is Wangtian Alliance? After secretly breathing a sigh of relief, Lin Su asked Lu Gang and the others to sit down, and looked at the three of them with a smile. Lu Gang had the highest level of cultivation and had reached the 10th level of the chi refining stage. He was not far from the realm of Dzogchen. Lu Ruolai and Li Wan'er were inferior, both at the peak of the 8th level of chi refining stage. It's not bad. Thanks to Brother Lin's care over the years, our Wangtian alliance has developed well. Now it is considered a well-known gang in Wangtian Fairy City. Relying on the resources in the alliance, our brothers and sisters have cultivated well over the years. Smooth sailing. When Lu Gang said this, he suddenly paused, as if he was hesitating to speak. What, are you in any trouble? Lin Su frowned, looking at Lu Gang's face. I'm afraid this trouble is not big. Brother, just tell it to Brother Lin. After all, this is also the matter of our Wangtian alliance, and Brother Lin is the leader of the alliance. Lu Gang was still hesitant, until Lu Ruolai persuaded him with a few words. Lu Gang sighed and told the truth. Because of Lin Su's relationship, Wangtian League did develop very well at the beginning. Even during the 3 years when Lin Su was exiled to Yunmengling Mine, because of Li Hao's care, Wangtian League did not suffer much in Wangtian Fairy City. The influence is still developing steadily. Later, Lin Su won the first place in the sect competition, was accepted as a disciple by Duan Tianshang, the head of the Sword God sect, and successfully established the foundation. The Wangtian alliance became even more powerful, and even annexed 2 of the Wangtian Immortal City in one fell swoop. A small gang at the same level. As the saying goes, a big tree attracts the wind. The rapid development of Wangtian League has naturally aroused the covetousness of interested people. The Zhao family, Han family, including Li Hao's Li family, are all eyeing Wangtian League and intend to take it under their section. However, because of Lin Su's face, he never took action. After the news of Lin Su's disappearance in the wild ancient territory reached Wangtian Fairy City, the 3 major families no longer had any scruples. They first tried to test, and then turned into full-scale suppression, trying to carve up the Wangtian alliance. Due to the pressure, they have successively many disciples within the alliance have withdrawn from the Watching Heaven alliance. Although Li Hao intervened many times, he was beyond his reach. Later, after Li Hao was sent to the frontline battlefield of the Dashun dynasty, the Wangtian alliance lost even this last support. Just 7 days before Lin Su asked Lu Gang to meet his brother and sister, the three major aristocratic families gave the Wangtian alliance a final ultimatum. After 10 days, the Wangtian alliance must be dissolved and merged into the three major aristocratic families. Otherwise, the three major aristocratic families will all Wangtian League disciples will be completely banned. The 10-day period will be over in 2 days. My brother and I are already in dire straits and there is nothing we can do. Fortunately, Brother Lin, you are back. With you here, there is hope for the Wangtian alliance. Lu Ruolai's eyes were full of hope. It seemed to her that as long as Lin Su was around, all difficulties could be solved. Human relationships are cold and warm, but the world is hot and cold. Lin Su sighed, shook his head, and patted Lu Gang on the shoulder. Don't worry, as long as I'm here, Wangtian alliance can't collapse. The three major aristocratic families, I really want to see how deep they are. Where there is interest, there will be fights. Lin Su knew this early on, but it was not that easy to snatch things from him. Although Lin Su was the leader of the alliance in name only, and he never interfered in the affairs of the alliance, he could not let it go. Others just divided it up. Brother Lin, don't be impulsive. Although the three major aristocratic families do not have monks in the Dan formation stage, there are still several monks in the foundation building stage, and the head of the family is a master in the late stage foundation building stage. You must not talk to the Watching Heaven Alliance about the matter. If they fight head-on, they will suffer a loss. Lu Gang was a little worried. Lin Su had indeed broken through to the foundation building stage. Although he could not see Lin Su's cultivation, he thought it was at the early stage of foundation building. If he really faced off against the masters of the foundation building stage from the three major families, it is inevitable that you will not suffer a loss. Brother Lu, don't worry, I know it well. Lin Su waved his hand. Just as the waiter from the restaurant brought the food and drinks, Lin Su changed the topic, but in his heart he secretly made a decision that he would never stand idly by this time. If the three major aristocratic families want to swallow up the Wangtian alliance, they have to see if they have such a good appetite. In the next 2 days, Lin Su basically accompanied Zizuer to play around in Wangtian Fairy City without deliberately concealing his identity. Soon, the three major aristocratic families got the news of Lin Su's appearance in Wangtian Fairy City. There is a certain lag in Wangtian Immortal City's news about the 5 major immortal sections. In addition, with the reappearance of the demon sect, the 5 major immortal sects have blocked all news from the outside world. Therefore, the 3 major aristocratic families are still stuck in Lin Su's understanding of Lin Su. When he disappeared in the ancient wilderness. After suddenly receiving the news that Lin Su had appeared in Wangtian Fairy City, the 3 major families were immediately panicked, and the 3 masters hurriedly gathered at the Zhao family to discuss how to deal with it. Brother Li, didn't Lin Su disappear in the ancient wilderness? How could he suddenly appear in Wangtian Immortal City? As soon as they met, Zhao Zhaiming, the head of the Zhao family, asked anxiously about Li Yunzheng, the head of the Li family. How do I know that Hao didn't send back any news? Like you, I just learned about Lin Su's appearance. Li Yunzheng rolled his eyes in frustration. Li Hao had not sent any message to the Li family for more than half a year. When he received the news from Lin Su, he was as shocked as Zhao Zhaiming. Lin Su showed up sooner or later, but he showed up just when we were giving the ultimatum to the Wangtian alliance. I don't believe it was such a coincidence. He must have come back specifically for the affairs of the Wangtian alliance. The head of the Han family, Han Yuanzi, crushed the teacup in his hand with some irritation. He had been paying attention to Lin Su's news through Han Shui. Although Han Shui said that the relationship between Lin Su and Duan Tianshang, the head of the Sword God sect, was not very good, after all, Lin Su was a disciple of the head of the Sword God sect and a solid foundation building monk, Not to mention Han Shui was able to build a foundation because she got a foundation building pill from Lin Su. Can someone who can sell a foundation building pill casually be an ordinary person? Then what should we do now? Is it possible that we have to take back the previous ultimatum and pretend that nothing happened? As soon as Lin Su showed up, we stopped. Others will definitely think that our three aristocratic families are afraid of that guy Lin Su. By then our prestige will be greatly reduced. Zhao Haiming frowned. Not only him, but also Li Yunzheng and Han Yuanzi thought so. But the problem is that if they insist on dealing with the Wangtian alliance, they will inevitably face Lin Su, the leader of the alliance. If you offend Lin Su, the consequences will probably be more serious than losing face. Let's not talk about Lin Su's identity as the head disciple of the Sword God section. His potential alone makes the three masters worried. Who knows how far this kid will grow in the future? If he forms a golden elixir, then the three major aristocratic families will really have nothing to eat and walk away. The novel Dantian will have more fresh content on the official WeChat platform, and there will also be a 100% lucky draw gift for everyone. Open WeChat now, click the plus sign on the upper right, add friend, and search the public number Dread and follow it. Hurry up. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 69. P.S. I want to hear more of your voices and receive more of your suggestions. Now search the WeChat public account Dread and follow it to give more support to Dantian. After much discussion, the heads of the three major aristocratic families still didn't come up with a reason. They could only decide to take it one step at a time and see Lin Su's attitude first. I. When the deadline for the ultimatum expired, Lu Gang and Lu Ruolai led a group of Wangtian League disciples to wait outside Lin Su's residence early. Let's go to the headquarters. The headquarters of Wangtian League is located on Zuk Street in the center of Immortal City. It is a conjoined mansion. It looks quite grand. It seems that Wangtian League has developed really well over the years, and it is difficult for the three major aristocratic families to covet it. Heart. Hello, Alliance Leader. Entering the inner hall from the gate, disciples greeted Lin Su loudly and enthusiastically along the way. Can't you tell, your prestige is quite high? Zi Zhouer sent a message to Lin Su. Yes, even for these Wangtian League disciples who trust me, I can't let the three major families succeed. The heads of the three major families came together. Originally, if Lin Su hadn't appeared, they wouldn't have had to come in person. They had their own disciples to deal with the Wangtian alliance, but now they had to take action in person. Fellow Daoist Lin, congratulations on your safe return from the ancient wilderness. What a joy to congratulate you. I haven't seen you for several years, but fellow Daoist Lin has successfully built the foundation. What a joy to congratulate. I have long heard from Hao that Dao Lin is a talented young man. When I see him today, he is even more famous. As soon as they met, the three masters of the family showered Lin Su with compliments, giving people the feeling that they had just met each other late. Lin Su looked at the hard work of the three people and secretly sneered in his heart. If it weren't for his strength and background, I'm afraid, these three people have different faces now. Okay, three family heads, no more polite words. Let's talk about business. Today is the day of your ultimatum. Let's talk about it. How do you plan to ban our Wangtian alliance? Waving his hand to interrupt the compliments of the three masters, Lin Su sneered and looked at the three of them leisurely, waiting to see their reactions. This. The three heads of the three families looked at each other, and after exchanging glances, Li Yunzheng spoke, Okay, friend Lin Dao, please speak quickly, so we won't hide it anymore. We, the three big families, can be considered respectable in Wangtiangxian City. the decisions you have made cannot be changed overnight. As the leader of the Wangtian Alliance, you, Daolin, naturally want to keep the Wangtian Alliance, and we don't want to break up with you, Daolin. Having said this, Li Yunzheng paused. Seeing that Lin Su's expression did not change, he gritted his teeth and said, "We are all monks, so let's speak with our strength. In this way, one person from each of our three major families will compete with you, and you win. Our three great families will never be in trouble with the Wangtian Alliance again. If you lose, the Wangtian Alliance will be disbanded. How about that? Ha, this is what the three great families of love have in mind." Lin Su sneered in his heart, seeing that he was only in the early stages of foundation building, he was destined to be defeated. "There is no problem with the competition, but I don't agree with your conditions. I won 3 games just in exchange for you 3 aristocratic families not to cause trouble to the Wangtian Alliance. If I lose 1 game, I will lose the Wangtian Alliance. No matter what, it's all me. What a loss." Lin Su shook his head and raised a finger. "Add a condition. If one of your families loses, they will lose 10,000 middle-grade spiritual stones to me. How about it? Do you dare to agree? 10,000 mid-grade spiritual stones." The heads of the 3 major aristocratic families took a breath of cold air. This kid really opened his mouth like a lion. Why, it's not like the 3 major aristocratic families in Tangtang Guangtianxian City can't even get out 10,000 middle-grade spiritual stones, right? Humph, I dare to attract Wangtianmen's attention, but what if I don't make you vomit some blood? Facing Lin Su's disdainful and provocative eyes, the heads of the 3 major aristocratic families suddenly felt angry. No matter how talented you are, Lin Su, you are only in the early stage of foundation building. How dare you be so arrogant? 10,000 mid-grade spiritual stones are 10,000 mid-grade spiritual stones, let's see what you can do to get them. Okay, I promise you on behalf of the Li family. The Zhao family also agreed. The Han family has no objection either. The 3 masters looked at each other and nodded in agreement to Lin Su's conditions. Xiao Linzi, are you sure? Zi Zhouer looked at the heads of the 3 major aristocratic families with evil smiles on their faces, and asked through a message with some worry. Don't worry, I've secured these 30,000 middle-grade spiritual stones. Zui just wait and see the livid faces of these 3 old guys. The news of Lin Su's appointment with the 3 major aristocratic families quickly spread throughout Wangtianxian City. The location of the battle was on the dual stage of Wangtianxian City. This was proposed by Lin Su. He wanted to fight against all the people in Wangtianxian City. Defeat the representatives of the 3 major families in front of others, leaving them unable to deny anything. Have you heard? Lin Su and the 3 major aristocratic families are scheduled to fight at the dual stage. Lin Su? Which Lin Su? He is the leader of the Wangtian Alliance and the young disciple of the head of the Sword God sect. You don't even know this, are you too ignorant? Lin Su, the leader of the Wangtian Alliance, has made a battle with the masters of the 3 major families. The bet is 10,000 mid-grade spiritual stones from each of the 3 major families and the ownership of the Wangtian Alliance. Oh my god! 10,000 mid-grade spiritual stones each, that's 30,000 mid-grade spiritual stones. If I have so many spiritual stones, am I worried that I won't be able to reach the foundation building stage? Stop dreaming. You think it's so easy to get the spiritual stones from the 3 major families? I'm afraid the ones sent out are all the masters in the late stage of foundation building. I think Lin Su is in trouble this time. The duel between masters in the foundation building stage is a once-in-a-lifetime event. Come on, hurry up and get a good seat to have a good look. The news spread, and whether they knew Lin Su or not, whether they were warriors or monks, they all rushed to the duel stage in the center of the fairy city, wanting to see this wonderful duel that had been rare in hundreds of years. 3 family heads, where are your candidates for the battle? You don't want to compete with me personally, do you? On the high-rise building next to the duel stage, Lin Su looked at the crowd that was constantly gathering towards the duel stage, and asked the heads of the three major aristocratic families beside him. Don't be impatient, fellow Daoist Lin, they are already here. Li Yunzhong stretched out his hand, and three sword lights shot from a distance. In the blink of an eye, they had flown closer. He pressed the sword lights on the tall building, but there were three monks with grey beards and hair. They were all masters in the late stage of foundation building. The state of perfection. If I guess correctly, these three should be masters at the level of elders from your three major families, right? You really think highly of me. No wonder these three old guys didn't end up in person. It turned out that they invited the masters who were at the bottom of the box to deal with them. It was really a waste of money. Lin Dao has a friendly eye. These are the supreme elders of our three great families. What do you think, should fellow Daoist Lin compete with them or just admit defeat? These three supreme elders have bad tempers, and their attacks are relatively heavy. It would be bad if you hurt fellow Taoist Lin. Zhao Haiming smiled proudly. In his opinion, Lin Su had no chance of winning with the help of the Supreme Elder who was in the final stage of foundation establishment. The Wangtian alliance was already in the possession of the three major families. Admit defeat? Of course not. I just want to see how powerful the masters of the Dzogchen realm in the later stages of foundation building really are. Lin Su grinned. For some reason, a feeling of excitement suddenly arose in his heart. A master of the Dzogchen realm in the late stage of foundation building, and an elder from the three major families, his strength is naturally extraordinary, but even if in this way, he will try his best to defeat them one by one, because he cannot afford to lose, and Wangtian Alliance cannot afford to lose. Let's get started. Patting Zi Zhouer's hand and giving her a reassuring look, Lin Su swayed and floated from the high platform to the duel stage diagonally below. Let me go meet this kid. Zhao Tingqing, the supreme elder of the Zhao family, moved his feet and followed Lin Su to the duel stage. This old guy is still so belligerent. It looks like we don't need to take action anymore. I hope this old ghost will be gentler and don't hurt this guy named Lin too seriously. What does that have to do with it? Anyway, even if the Sword God sect is blamed for Lin Su's incident, it will be old ghost Zhao and the Zhao family who will suffer. It has nothing to do with us, right? Li Minjiao, the supreme elder of the Li family, and Han Liang, the supreme elder of the Han family, watched Zhao Tingqing on the duel stage, exchanged a few words over the sound transmission, and chuckled proudly at the same time. On the duel stage, Zhao Tingqing squinted at Lin Su and snorted, "Boy, I advise you to admit defeat. You are no match for me. You won't know until you beat your opponent." Lin Su waved his hand, and the green mantle sword rushed out of his body and stabbed towards Zhao Tingqing. He wanted to test the old guy's strength first. The flying sword is good, but boy, you are not strong enough. A flying sword with red light also flew out of Zhao Tingqing's body, and he rushed towards the Kingbo sword. The two swords intersected, and Lin Su's Kingbo sword let out a whine and was knocked away. High-quality magic weapon. Lin Su was shocked. He was able to put his Kingbo sword at a disadvantage with just one glance. Zhao Tingqing's flying sword was definitely a top-grade magic weapon. In terms of the power of true energy poured into the flying sword, the Kingbo sword was no better than the opponent's flying sword. Phew. That's right, it's a top-grade magic weapon. Boy, you are quite discerning. What do you think? Do you want to continue? Zhao Tingqing did not continue to pursue, but took the flying sword back to his side. He looked like he was sure of victory, but he was actually quite surprised in his heart. This is a top-grade magic weapon, the Fire Dragon Sword. He didn't hold back the slightest bit of force in that blow just now. He originally wanted to destroy Lin Su's Green Dragon Sword in one fell swoop, but he didn't expect the power of true energy contained in the opponent's flying sword. It turned out to be more than him, and in the end he just blew it away without any harm. Could it be that the real energy of this boy named Lin, who was in the early stage of foundation building, was actually stronger than him? Go on, come again. Lin Su shouted coldly, and used the Kingbo sword to stab Zhao Tingqing again. At the same time, another consciousness controlled the true energy in the body and released the Kuishui Divine Thunder. Boom! Zhao Tingqing drove the Fire Dragon sword and knocked Lin Su's Green Dragon sword away again. Just as he was about to pursue the victory, a light blue thunder suddenly appeared above his head and suddenly fell down and hit him solidly. The novel Dantian will have more fresh content on the official WeChat platform, and there will also be a 100% lucky draw gift for everyone. Open WeChat now, click the plus sign on the upper right, add friend, and search the public number Dread and follow it. Hurry up. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 70. P.S. If you want to hear more of your voices and receive more of your suggestions, search for the WeChat public account Dread and follow it now to give more support to Dantian has a little field. Caught off guard, Zhao Tingqing felt that a destructive lightning force instantly broke through his true essence shield and drilled into the meridians in his body. This lightning force also contained a deep sense of coldness. Zhao Tingqing was shocked and hurriedly used his true essence to expel this lightning force from his body. As a result, the true essence and lightning force were frozen by the coldness as soon as they came into contact. Then the whole meridian was paralyzed under the effect of lightning force, and the raging lightning spread to the whole body. It happened in a flash. The moment the Kuishui Divine Thunder hit Zhao Tingqing, the Fire Dragon sword, which had been so arrogant, suddenly dimmed. It paused and turned around to fly back to Zhao Tingqing. How could Lin Su miss such an opportunity? He raised his hand and blasted another Kuishui Divine Thunder towards Zhao Tingqing, while controlling the Qingming sword to attack the Fire Dragon sword. Every time the Qingming sword slashed at the Fire Dragon sword, it would send a stream of Lin Su's true energy into it, shaking out some of Zhao Tingqing's true energy attached to the Fire Dragon sword. In just a breath of time, the Fire Dragon sword fell to the ground with a whine, and Lin Su took the opportunity to collect it into the spiritual field space and erase the mark of divine consciousness. My Fire Dragon sword! Poof! Zhao Tingqing was already trembling all over and his hair stood on end by the lightning of the Kuishui god. His whole body was emitting the aroma of barbecue. When the Fire Dragon sword was taken away by Lin Su, he immediately vomited blood under the induction of the qi, and fell on the duel stage with a scream. Shua! The green moth sword swung and rushed to Zhao Tingqing's side. The sword pointed directly at Zhao Tingqing. The sword light-emitting green light was only an inch away from the old guy's eyebrows. As long as Lin Su slightly urged his true energy, Zhao Tingqing's head would burst like a watermelon, and he would die. Thank you. Lin Su's faint voice sounded, and the whole audience was dead silent. Everyone stared at the figure standing against the wind on the duel stage in amazement, speechless. What's going on? Before, Zhao Tingqing, the supreme elder of the Zhao family, had the upper hand. How come the situation was reversed in the blink of an eye? A huge hand of true energy appeared and grabbed Zhao Tingqing, who was limp on the ground. Lin Su flicked his hand and threw him towards the tall building, smiling faintly. Next, who's next? Hiss. The heads of the three major families took a breath of cold air, and the shock in their hearts was like a raging storm. What kind of thunder method was that just now? How could it be so powerful? Isn't the sword god sect mainly based on swords? Where did Lin Su learn this powerful thunder method? The tall building was full of experts in the foundation building period. Naturally, they could see that Lin Su had just caught Zhao Tingqing off guard with the powerful thunder method. Just two thunder methods made Zhao Tingqing completely lose his ability to resist. The sword god sect is a sword cultivating sect, and its attack method is mainly to control the sword. When did it have a thunder method that is more powerful than the Five Elements sect? What, are the Li and Han families planning to admit defeat now? Li Minjiao, the supreme elder of the Li family, and Han Liang, the supreme elder of the Han family, hesitated to move. Lin Suyi grinned and said with sarcasm, "It's okay if you want to admit defeat. Just take out the 10,000 medium-grade spirit stones that you bet on. This kid is too arrogant. I have to teach him a lesson." Han Liang's temper is not much better than Zhao Tingqing's. How can he bear the contempt and ridicule from Lin Su? He clenched his fist and was about to go on the court, but was stopped by Li Minjiao. "Brother Han, this kid's thunder method is powerful, you must be on guard." "Brother Li, don't worry, although this kid's thunder method is powerful, it is not impossible to resist. Just now, Zhao Logui was too careless and had no defense at all, so he lost. I am now prepared, and his thunder method can't do anything to me. Just wait and see, I will teach this stinky boy a lesson, let him know what it means that there is always someone better than you." As he said, Han Liang's figure flashed and he came to the duel stage. He raised his hand and took out a talisman from the storage bag and slapped it on his body. "Boy, your thunder method is really powerful, and I have to say I admire you, but facing this thunder-avoiding talisman, no matter how powerful your thunder method is, it will be in vain. See how I teach you." Glancing at Lin Su coldly, Han Liang's hand appeared a palm-sized, strange dark green knife, and there were 9 smaller vermilion knives flying around the dark green knife. "Stinky boy, let me show you how powerful my mother and child chain blade is." Han Liang pointed at Lin Su and said, "Hurry." The dark green mother knife made a slight sound and shot towards Lin Su with 9 vermilion knives. "Green moth sword, go." Lin Su pinched the sword formula in his hand, and the green moth sword turned into a green light and rushed towards the mother and child chain blade, trying to split it with the sword. When the swords intersected, there was a loud bang and the invisible energy scattered, and they were in a stalemate. "Boy, my mother and child chain blade is not so easy to deal with. Disperse." Han Liang sneered, and the formula in his hand changed. The 9 vermilion knife suddenly dispersed, bypassing the sword light of the green moth sword and turned into 9 red lights to cover Lin Su's whole body. "Little Lin." On the high platform, Zi Zhouer's expression changed, and she couldn't help but let out a cry of surprise. 9 red lights had passed through Lin Su's body like lightning, but strangely, no trace of blood appeared. "It's an afterimage." The afterimage penetrated by the red light shattered like a bubble, and Lin Su's figure appeared 6 meters away, wiping a trace of cold sweat from his forehead. These old ghosts who are in the Dzogchen realm in the later stages of foundation building are really not simple, they actually have such powerful magic weapons. If he hadn't used the transformation in Union Step in time, he might have been seriously injured and defeated by now. "What a good boy, you are able to dodge the blows of the old master's chain blades. You are indeed quite capable. But I want to see how many times you can dodge." Han Liang's eyes flashed with cold light, and he once again activated the 9 vermilion knives to shoot towards Lin Su. "No, if you keep hiding like this, you will get tricked sooner or later." Using transformation again to dodge the attacks of the 9 sub-knives, Lin Su used his magic formula to hit Han Liang with the Kuishui Divine Thunder. Boom! The Divine Thunder struck Han Liang accurately, but a layer of light golden light curtain flashed on the surface of Han Liang's body, completely cancelling out the Kuishui Divine Thunder. "Ha ha ha! Lin Su, I have told you a long time ago that with the lightning protection talisman here, your thunder method cannot hurt me. You will definitely lose today." Han Liang smiled proudly, but he was quite surprised in his heart. Although the protective light screen of the lightning protection talisman blocked Lin Su's Kuishui Divine Thunder, there was still a trace of extremely cold thunder and lightning power intruding. Fortunately, the quantity in his body was very small, and its power had been greatly weakened, and it was easily resolved by his true energy. But even so, Lin Sulifa's domineering power can still be seen. Damn it! Lin Su secretly cursed that he still had too few magic weapons. The Kingbo sword was now entangled with the dark green mother sword and could not move at all, but the opponent could freely use the scarlet child knife to attack him. Now Kuishui Shenlei was trapped by the opponent. The lightning protection talisman blocked it. For a moment, Lin Su was really at a loss and could only use all his body skills to dodge. The duel stage was in a stalemate, with the green moth sword and the dark green mother sword deadlocked in the center of the field. Han Liang stood quietly on the field and urged 9 vermilion child swords to chase Lin Su's figure and attack wildly, while Lin Su he dodged with all his strength while dodging, and from time to time he would fire out a divine thunderbolt of sunflower water to slow down Han Liang's attack. Suddenly, the entire duel stage saw 9 red lights chasing a figure that kept flashing around, dazzling everyone. The boy named Lin will definitely lose now. Yes, if you defend for a long time, you will lose. You can hide for a while, but you can't hide for a lifetime. As long as you are hit by the mother-child chain blade once, this kid will be dead. On the high platform, the heads of the 3 major aristocratic families showed proud expressions and started talking loudly without any scruples. It seems that you don't have to wait for me to take action. Brother Han is already capable of taking care of this boy named Lin. Li Minjiao, the supreme elder of the Li family, breathed a sigh of relief. To be honest, if he had been on the field in his place, he might not be able to defeat Lin Su. After all, he did not have the best lightning protection talisman like Han Liang. Ordinary lightning protection robes would probably prevent him. He couldn't stand Lin Su's powerful thunder method. It's really strange to say that this guy surnamed Lin has average sword handling skills, but his lightning power is surprisingly powerful. I don't know where he learned it from. The sword god sect doesn't seem to have such a spell. Could it be the ancient magic technique obtained in the wild ancient realm? If Lin Su could know what Li Minjiao was thinking at this moment, he would definitely be amazed that this old guy who has lived for more than 100 years is really not simple, and he can guess it accurately. On the duel stage, Lin Su kept running Union Step to dodge the attacks of 9 vermilion knives. However, he gradually became a little anxious in his heart. He kept activating Union Step in this way, which depleted the true essence. It is very huge. Even if he possesses the 9 Dantians, his total amount of true energy is astonishing and he cannot withstand such consumption. What's more, if you defend for a long time, you will lose. If you fail to dodge and get hit, you will become a living target for being beaten. No, you can't hide like this anymore. The Kuishui Divine Thunder can't break your lightning protection talisman, so I'll add the Binghuo Divine Thunder. No matter how powerful the talisman's defensive ability is, there are limits. I want to see how long you can hold on. One part of his consciousness controlled the Kingbo sword to continue to resist the dark green main sword, another part of his consciousness used Union Step to dodge the attack of the scarlet sword, and the remaining 2 parts of Lin Su's consciousness simultaneously used Bing Fire God Thunder and Kuei Shui Divine Thunder. With a push of the palm, 2 divine thunders shot out from the palm, hitting Han Liang's divine rune light shield almost simultaneously. It's so stupid. I've told you before that your thunder method can't do anything to my lightning protection talisman. It's all in vain. What? Before Han Liang could finish his contemptuous words, his expression suddenly changed, and a powerful destructive force exploded in front of him. P.S. Thank you to Guest Officer Sija for your generous reward, and thank you to Objective Xianxia for your continued attention. Best regards, Beizhu. The novel Dantian will have more fresh content on the official WeChat platform, and there will also be a 100% lucky draw gift for everyone. Open WeChat now, click the plus sign on the upper right, add friend, and search the public number Dread and follow it. Hurry up.